Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of the Create Bootcamp. Today is all about thoughts and how to train your mind to work for you. This is probably my favorite day because I think this practice, one of the 6 foundational practices of the Create word, the structure that and the framework that I'm using and have been talking about during this boot camp, thoughts is probably the one where you can have the biggest breakthrough in getting you unstuck. So before we even get started today, I want to do a little review of the past couple of days. And I would love to know in the comments if you have been here for all 4 of the days and which one of the days you have liked the best. Which one of the days have you gotten the most from? Which one of the days has stuck out to you as the one that, oh, that's the practice that I need to work on? Monday, we had community and building your community around you, having people around you, choosing those people. And I talked about adding 2 new people per day to your network, essentially. So if you're kind of keeping track of 2 per day, that would be 8. Have you made 8 new connections this week with people, having conversations, connecting with them, and just being a professional friend maker? Have you made 8 new connections? On Tuesday, on day 2, we talked about rest. And R is the second letter of the Create word, and the second practice is rest. So we talked that day not about sleep, but about what you can do to rest and why, if you don't take the time to rest, you can feel very burned out. And we talked about what kinds of things you can do to be able to rest. The third day, we talked about energy. And I talked about whether you were an introvert or an extrovert and what that meant in relation to energy and where you get your energy. And then yesterday, probably one of my favorite days that I could talk all day long about is the AM routine and how setting up a morning routine will help you to be able to be more successful, be more intentional, be more purposeful throughout the day. And I had a word that I gave yesterday. If you remember what that word is, if you want to go ahead and put it in the comments, of the 6 different things that you can do as part of your morning routine to help you start the day. It can take anywhere from maybe 5 or 10 minutes to maybe 2 hours, depending on what it is that you do, but some type of morning routine where you can do that and be consistent with it so that you can be more intentional and more purposeful. I see Renee putting savers, Donna, savers. Hey there, Terry. Hi, Loretta. And yeah, Loretta, professional friend maker was something I learned from a mentor several years ago. So on day 4, I asked you to do a challenge. And the challenge was to take your card, if you've been keeping the little note cards inside of your pocket journal. And let me just say, I've been seeing some of you post your pocket journals, and they are incredible. They're so cute. And the papers you've been choosing and the words and the decorations. I haven't taken the time this week to decorate mine a little bit more. So I'm planning on doing that this weekend. So I asked you to put a photo, a selfie of you with your Savers card on your personal profile with the description, the caption that says, I commit to my Savers. And I saw several of you do that. And I had not told you yesterday what the prize was going to be. I didn't have the copy of the 5 a.m. book, which I talked about. That's in my book list in my Amazon shop, which I did put a list of that inside of CBOB. And there's a banner right down here that says to join CBOB if you want in on the challenges and the prizes. I've basically been announcing the prizes here on my page, but everything's kind of taking place inside that group. So this book I didn't have that one yesterday, but what I decided to give away for the people who participated was to give a book. And I thought about which book. In the past, I had given the, which one had I done before? I've done a couple of different ones. The 100 Days to Brave book. The 5 a.m. Club was the one that I gave last year. I've really been kind of focusing a lot more on appreciation and gratitude in the morning. So I decided to go ahead. There is a 5-minute gratitude journal, and that is what I'm going to give away to the people who participated yesterday in the posting of the little Savers card. So before I say who those are, let me just remind you, for the next 35 minutes or so, I'd like for you to turn on your focus, to stay focused on some of the things that I'm going to share today about thoughts. I have some quotes, I have some books, I have a little framework for you to go through. I have some different things that I think that you'll find will be helpful in how you think about things. And I'll talk more about that. But turn off any distractions, your phone, your computer. I've actually got this other screen here on my computer. I have like the dual screen. So this is my laptop that I'm looking at now, but I have this other screen over here. And I have to tell you, it's a little distracting because somehow it popped up an image. I didn't think that my computer kind of heard things that I talked about or thought about even, but it has an image over here, and I'm pretty sure the image is Santorini, Greece. And that is one of the places that I have had on my vision board for several years that I would like to go to. So, oh, Debbie said she hasn't made her little pocket journal. That's okay. Hey there, Debbie. Yeah, I love to see everyone else's little pocket journals and how they're decorating those. I saw Laura's and Terry's and Nilda, I saw made one. And so I love seeing all of those. So Santorini, Greece is where this image is over here. And it's like at nighttime and it's a little distracting. I might have to like turn the screen off. So anyway, turn off your distractions and just give yourself this time to maybe learn some new things and find out what the challenge is for today so that maybe you can participate. And I'm going to tell you what the prize is going to be for today's challenge. So let me tell you, when I went in, and this could be because the hashtag that I asked you to use was hashtag create627 for June 27th, right? And today we'll use hashtag create628. And it may be because I'm not seeing all of them. If your page is not public, I might not be seeing them. But right now, there are 3 people who participated that I can see. And I said that I was going to give out 4. So that hashtag, create627, the next person that I see when I pull it up after this video, I will also give this the 5-day gratitude journal to that person also. But the 3 people who already have posted that are Debbie Severson, Terry Royals, and Renee Jenkins. So I'm pretty sure that Debbie is on here. I've seen her make a comment. So congratulations. I'm not sure if Renee is on here or not. I have not seen her name, but I'm pretty sure that Terry is not on here because it's her birthday today. So she is probably out celebrating her birthday. So Debbie's excited. I don't have a physical copy of the 5-day gratitude journal, but I will make sure and get that to you. Hey there, Robin. So those 3 people, and then I will announce one more person. So what I'm going to do this weekend is I will make a post of all of the winners over the past 4 days. and I will tag everybody in there so that you know that you won, and to make sure that I have your address. I think I have Debbie's and Terry's and Renee's address to make sure and get that little journal to them. So, hey there, Tony. Oh, Terry is on here. You guys, tell Terry happy birthday. She is on the video because even on her birthday, she's coming on here, maybe because she wants a little refresher on some thoughts. Maybe. Oh, Renee is on here. Oh, good. Oh, I can't wait to see it, Renee. She said that she's going to be working on a little journal. I'm going to be working on, I'm going to have to figure out which one I want to use and then what I want to use the other one for. So much fun. So let me give you a quote before we talk a little bit about thoughts. And get ready to write some things down, because I think whether you feel stuck in your business, whether you feel stuck being creative, whether you feel stuck in your full-time job, just like in life in general, like I think this idea of thoughts and this practice of taking control of your thoughts, and I'm going to give you different ways to do that, I think is going to be helpful. And I want to read this quote to you from a book that I had referenced in the last boot camp. And there are so many quotes in here, so many things that I pulled out, so many notes that I have. But here is the book. It's called The Greatest Mindset. It's all about mindset and unlocking the power of your mind and live your best life today. Goes right along with everything that I talk about in my Create course, everything that I talk about from going stuck in your head to being confident in your core. So write down this quote because I want you to really think about this one. It says, the right thoughts, emotions, and actions. Think about that. The right thoughts, the right emotions, the right actions, all three of those things. So mindset to me is saying that it's all three of those things, right? The right thoughts, emotions, and actions lead to who we want to become. The wrong thoughts, emotions, and actions keep us stuck. I hope that somebody was writing that down and they can type that in the comments. I'm going to say it one more time. The right thoughts, emotions, and actions. Let's have an acronym for that. TMA. The right TMA, thoughts, emotions, and actions lead to who we want to become. Because if we have the right thoughts, if we have the right emotions, if we have the right actions, that's going to lead us forward into who we want to become. But the wrong action, the wrong thoughts, emotions, and actions. So TEA, it's TEA, thoughts, emotions, actions. They keep us stuck. Somebody typing that up. I want to be able to remember that. And I have so many like little tabs and underline places. Okay, Renee wrote it. The right thoughts, emotions, and actions, TEA, lead us to who we want to become. The wrong thoughts, emotions, and actions keep us stuck. There you go. Thank you, Renee. Isn't that good? That is such a good reminder that it's when we have the wrong thoughts, the wrong emotions, the wrong actions, that's going to keep us stuck. And that's everything that I want to talk about today. I learned so much about thoughts from a mentor of mine, Summer, who I had mentioned before, and she has done a lot of research on the brain, our thoughts, mindset, and all of those things. And I've heard her speak on that topic so many different times. She talks about, and how I kind of think of them as ruts, as thoughts that we have that are over and over again are coming up. Like, tell me if you saw the post that I had on my page the other day that talked about the ugly artwork. And it was kind of like a poem, and it read down. I don't have it pulled up right now, but if you go back just a couple of days on my page, it was like a blue background and it said "The Ugly Artwork," I believe was the title up at the top. Tell me if you saw that post. Tell me if you saw which one, because I feel like that post says a lot of the thoughts, especially when we're sitting down to create. It says a lot of the thoughts that come into our mind, and we've said them over and over again so many times that they've become a rut. Rhea said that she saw it. Loretta said that she saw it. And then you get all the way down to the bottom, and then you read it going up. And it's kind of like the reverse. You read it in the reverse order, and it's completely different. Go find that post if you haven't read it. Edith said it is called "The Ugly Artwork." Yeah. If you read it going down, that's a lot of our thoughts that are these ruts. I almost think of them as they're pathways. They're like neural pathways. They're like ruts. They're almost like divots. They're almost like these, what's another word that I'm trying? They're like on the side of the road, like a ditch. They're like a ditch, right? They're like this valley. They're this. And those negative thoughts, those negative emotions, those negative actions, they cause this pathway. And your brain just kind of wants to take like the path of least resistance. It takes this ditch. It takes this rut in there. Summer talked about it, and she taught me about the RAS, the reticular activating system. And I think that there was a quote in here about this too. This was Mel Robbins who said this. So he quoted Mel Robbins. Lewis Howes did. He's the one that wrote this book. He quoted Mel Robbins in this book. And they're talking about the RAS. And the quote that she shares, you have to write this down. If you don't get anything else from today, this is the whole concept of the boot camp. This is it. I am constantly training my mind to work for me. Write that down. I am constantly training my mind to work for me. Remember when we talked about for the savers, the A is affirmations? That would be a great affirmation. That would be an awesome affirmation for you to write down, remember, memorize, say every single day. Somebody type that in the comments. I am constantly training my mind to work for me. Do you know what constantly means? You have to do it all the time. You have to practice it. You have to be intentional about it. I am constantly training my mind to work for me. So I'm going to read you this other little part too. We might go longer than 35 minutes. Thank you, Tony. Renee typed it up. You know, there's something about typing it and then seeing it. And if you write it down, right, you're going to be able to see it, write it down, and that muscle memory of being able to do all of that will help you to remember it better. Here is what Mel Robbins said a little bit more about the RAS. She said, imagine a hairnet on your brain, only it's electric, meaning it's alive. I mean, is that not a good visual image right there? The RAS has one job, and the job is to block out the 99% of what's going on and only let in the 1% of what we need to know at this moment in history. Your RAS has a monster job. It's like a bouncer at a bar that says, you're not coming in. I love that visual of this bouncer, your RAS being this bouncer and saying, okay, this thought that came in that says that my artwork is ugly, let me just, I don't think I need to let that come in today. Like, how empowering is that? How powerful is that? How often do we need to do that with all kinds of other thoughts that aren't serving us, that aren't helping us, that aren't helping us to grow or anything? I think that that's so important. And I love the visual of that, to be able to think about it in that way. So you can actually create new pathways. The more that you do that, the more that you take those thoughts, my artwork is ugly, and you keep repeating that, if you can reframe that and say, well, I'm learning, I'm a beginner, I am figuring things out, I am practicing, I'm getting better, I'm all of these things, to take it and reframe it, you create these new pathways. And after a while of doing that, because it's a practice, after a while of doing that, you have a new pathway. And your brain says, well, now this pathway is easier. This pathway is easier for me to follow. And it's not so much of a ditch as it is just like a different, beautiful pathway for you to go down that's actually helpful, that's actually more beneficial to you. If you haven't read that ugly artwork, when you read it going the opposite direction, you'll see how that reframe happens. So I want to tell you a little story about when I feel like, this is just one of the stories about when I really realized that I could reframe an idea. So it was back in 2020. I had just started my business in January, and this was at the end of April. And I was in a large group where everyone was learning to start a membership. And we were getting information about how to start a membership and how to set that up and the best way to be able to do that. And I was thinking about that, but there was a lot of thoughts. Tell me if you've ever had thoughts like this. Well, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know enough tech. I'm not very good at tech. I hadn't even learned that word yet to put after any of these. I don't know that I have a big enough following. I don't know that I am capable of doing that. Like, tell me if you've ever had any of those thoughts. Cindy, I will for sure get you the link into CBOB. If you go out and search CBOB, you will find it, but I will make sure after the video and get that to you so you can participate in the challenges and the prizes and everything. So tell me if you've ever had thoughts like that before. I was thinking about all of those things, and I had ideas of, if you remember back to the end of April 2020, there wasn't a whole lot of things that we could do in person. And that was what I thought my business was going to be, was in person, like mobile paint parties. And I was going to go to people and I was going to teach them how to paint. And we couldn't do that. Debbie says she's had these thoughts. Loretta says at least once a week. And Renee says, yeah, I've had those thoughts. We all have. We all have. And that's why that ugly artwork poem is so relevant to people. I actually wrote that poem based on a framework, and it's included down at the bottom there. But that was a poem that I wrote because I've had those thoughts about that ugly artwork. And it was just inspired by a similar kind of poem that somebody had written about. I don't even remember what the original, but I wrote the ugly artwork. Yeah, it really resonated with a lot of people. So I had all these thoughts about this membership, and I was in this group and I saw this post, and it was a black and white post, and it caught my eye because it was my mentor at the time who was teaching me about paint parties. And she was in the same position of having to pivot what she was doing too. And it was a black and white photo of her studio. And it was, oh yeah, Cheryl, I didn't put at the bottom. I just put that it was inspired by someone else. I didn't put that it was actually me that wrote it. Yeah, that's what I do, is I just like take one idea and like translate it into something that I can relate to. So I saw this photo and I read the whole description, and I saw at the bottom, it had these two phrases. It was 4 words. And I've repeated these 4 words to myself quite a bit because if you're willing to admit in the comments, let me know if you're a perfectionist. Let me know if you feel like you have to have everything perfect before you do something. Let me know if you feel like if you don't think that it's perfect, you can't do it. Let me know so that I don't feel like I'm the only one, because I will tell you, I did not think that I was a perfectionist until I realized using the idea of being a perfectionist is really just a form of procrastination. It's really just a form of not feeling like I am worth whatever it is that I'm going after. Being perfect is really just there is no perfection. It's really just an illusion, and it's something that we tell ourselves because we're scared. We're afraid. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of looking silly. We're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of somebody else criticizing us. We're afraid of all of these things. We're afraid of disappointing someone. So I looked at this post, and down at the bottom it said to dream big, and which I'm all about dreaming big. Like I have a pretty good imagination. I can dream big. But then it said to fail fast. And I had to sit with that for a second. I really had to think about that. I thought, well, wait a second. Why would I want to fail at all? Why would I want to fail at anything? Why would I want to fail fast? And I took the weekend to kind of think about that. And yes, I have big dreams. I want to dream big. But how does failing fast help? I want to do things perfectly. I want to have them all figured out. I want to know what it is that I'm doing. I want to understand technology enough to get started. I want to have all of these things in place. Tell me that I am not alone in thinking all of these things. Debbie, absolutely. Yes, you can be a perfectionist and a hot mess at the same time. Because really, your thoughts are the stories, like we talked about the other day. They're the stories that you tell yourself. Telling yourself that you're a hot mess, is that serving you? Is that beneficial? Is that a judgment? Or is it just a moment in time? Like right now, there's just a lot going on. I'm a hot mess. That's one thing. If you're saying that you are a hot mess, which I don't even know exactly the definition of what a hot mess is. But it's different if you're saying that that is who you are. And that's where our thoughts coming in, we really have to take them and we have to think about them, and we have to train our mind to work for us instead of against us. We have to train our mind, the thoughts that come in, and we get to control. We get to take control. We get to take captive. We get to take those thoughts and say, wait a second, is there one time that has not been true? Is there one person that I can say who has been able to figure out tech and make it possible and learn how to do it? There are a lot of times when if I hear any kind of like an absolute type statement, like always and never and things like that, say, wait a second. Just like I told you the other day with the cell phone, if you say, I don't know tech, I can't do tech. If you have a cell phone, you are more techie than a lot of other people because you can work a smartphone. So you do know some tech. You can figure things out, especially if you have a big enough reason. So dream big and fail fast. And what happened over that weekend, I was just telling a group of ladies that I work with this earlier on a Zoom. What happened over that weekend is I did get an idea for a way that I could create a membership for a way that I could do this from home, because that was what we were all doing back in 2020. And I could figure out how to keep it simple so that I could get it started. And that very following Monday, I decided to go for it. I just decided to try it and to fail fast. And I will just tell you, there were a lot of failures, a lot of things that I did wrong that first year and a half, really. A lot of things that I'm still figuring out 4.5 almost years later, 4+ years later. A lot of things that I'm still figuring out about memberships and about how to do my business and all of those things. So I say all of that to talk about thoughts and to say that you get to reframe those thoughts that aren't serving you. You get to reframe even just the way that I thought about failing fast. You get to reframe what that means. Failing doesn't mean that you're a failure. Failing is just one step closer to not failing. It's just one step closer to figuring it out. It's just one step closer if you're practicing a certain technique with your artwork. It's just one step closer to being able to figure it out and to learning. I was teaching a group of ladies, and there were 8 of them. I don't think very many of them had painted before. And this was also that same summer. It was in July, that summer of 2020. And they were feeling a little bit apprehensive. Have you ever gotten a little bit apprehensive when you are doing something that you've never done before? Sure, right? We get a little apprehensive. We get a little bit anxious. And I could feel it. Like I could feel it in the room, right? Can't you tell when there's like the air's thicker? Like you can tell that there's some anxiety. And one of the ladies said, well, I can't paint flowers. And that's one of those absolute statements, right? Like I can't. And they said, well, I can't make it look like yours. I can't make it look like that. And I said, well, that's because you're not supposed to. Your painting is your painting. You have different handwriting than me. You're not supposed to make your handwriting look like mine. And that was when I told her these couple of words that I've used so often since then, because she wanted to be perfect. She wanted to have a perfect painting. She thought that my example was the perfect example of what hers was supposed to be. And I said, what if we reframe this? What if we reframe what's supposed to be perfect? I mean, I didn't say it exactly like that, but I said, how about we consider fun is perfect? And so I told her that. I said, are you having fun? Fun is perfect. Fun is the new perfect. So I tell people that a lot of times, like, I want you to create a painting that you're proud of. I want you to create a painting that you want to take home and to hang up. But I also want you to have fun. And if you're having fun and that is the main purpose when you're painting, fun is perfect, right? It's just like a reframe. Tell me, I love that. Failing shows that you're trying, right? Hey there, Tammy. So Tony says, I used to be a perfectionist, but I've learned it's unattainable and keeps us from living our best life. So I say I'm reforming. Ooh, a reforming perfectionist. I like that. So let me go ahead and tell you an equation that I learned. And this kind of ties into being perfect, because we all have ideas of what we think is successful, what we think success is. Yeah, Debbie says it's not fine art, it's fun art. Yeah, because fun is perfect. What would you say your definition of success is? Do you have a definition of whether it's in business, whether it is financial, whether it is personal, whether it is in your full-time job? Like, what is a definition for you of success? Hey there, Lori. Do you have a definition of success? Because I'm going to give you a success equation. Some people think that to be successful, you just have to work hard. You just have to work hard. And if you aren't successful, you just have to work harder. You just have to work longer hours. You just have to keep working harder. But remember, I said to dream big and to fail fast. There's not really anything in there about working harder, because honestly, if working harder was the formula for success, then anybody who worked hard would be successful. But that depends on what their definition of success is, right? Edith says, my definition is waking up in the morning and being glad to do whatever it is that I need to do that day. Fun stuff as well as chores. I love that's intention right there, Edith. That is success, when you can wake up and do whatever it is that I need to do. I love that. Debbie says, feeling like you achieved something you're proud of. Now, proud of, that's a feeling, right? So that's not the attainment of whatever the success is, whether it's financial or whether it's, a goal, a trophy, an award, but it's the feeling. Shannon says to complete a task with satisfaction. That's that feeling. So I want you to write down this success equation. Success equals achievement plus fulfillment. And that satisfaction and the pride that Debbie was talking about, that's the satisfaction. And Renee says it's being happy and proud of where you are. So it's achieving whatever it is. You get to decide whatever that success is. You get to decide whatever that goal is, whatever that award, whatever that achievement, whatever that is for you. You get to decide what that is. But it's that fulfillment. It's kind of like, I've used this analogy before. I don't hike. I would rather go on a boat cruise or something than hike. I just don't hike. I do love being outside. I love being in nature, but I prefer water views. But anyway, you'll understand this analogy, that if you're only focused on the goal, and if the goal of climbing and hiking is to get to the top of a mountain, if you kind of have your blinders on and you're just trying to get to the top of the mountain, do you know what you miss on the way up? You miss the beautiful views. You miss talking with the people that you might be with. You miss the breaks in between. You miss that journey on the way up there. And that journey can be the fulfillment. So that when you get up to the top, when you get to the top of the mountain, you reach your goal, you have the achievement plus fulfillment. So I want you to think about all of these different things that I talked about today. And like I said, I can go on and on about thoughts. And I actually have a couple of other books that I wanted to tell you about. And these, I believe, are all in my Amazon shop too. This one is the book on thoughts, and it's Think and Grow Rich. And not even rich in the way that you might think of, with money, but being rich. And it's Napoleon Hill. The other one, this is I'm trying to think of what her neuroscientist, maybe a neuroscientist. And it is Caroline Leaf, and it is Switch On Your Brain, a 21-day detox plan. So that one's another really good one about thinking and mindset. This is another one that is referenced a lot about mindset, and it talks all about the difference between a growth mindset and a scarcity mindset. Hey there, Teresa. Oh, she said that she did a live. So very good. Yeah, a different version of the Think and Grow Rich. This one is Mindset by Carol Dweck. And it's all about that growth and scarcity mindset. Whenever you think that there's not enough, you're living in that scarcity mindset. And that's when you take that thought, wait a second, that's not serving me. This one is another really good one, The War of Art. And it's about breaking through those creative battles, those inner creative battles. So this one's really good too. So lots of different books today. I did put the Amazon link inside CBOB. So if you are not in CBOB, you can go over there. I also put the YouTube link for all of the bootcamp videos together. So if you wanted to kind of have all of them together. But I wanted to go ahead and end with your takeaway. I'd like for you to go ahead and put a takeaway in the comments here about what is it about thoughts that kind of really stood out to you? What is something about renewing your mind and practicing that and taking control of your thoughts that really like stuck out with you? Oh, good, Lori. They are in CBOB, so there is a list of all of them in there too. And my Amazon page, my Amazon store has all of those books in there too. Anytime I find a book that really I want to recommend, I add it to that list in there. But I want you to go ahead and put a takeaway here in the comments about something that you're going to remember, maybe something that you're going to put on your note card for your little pocket journal that you're going to remember about thoughts. And I'd like for you to put, for the challenge, is to go ahead and make a post. I'd like for you to make a post, have a photo of you holding your note card if you want, have a photo of something that tells a story about maybe a thought that you had that you're going to reframe. So I just want you to put a post on your personal profile that is a story about, this is what I used to think, and this is how I'm going to think now. This is how I used to have my thoughts affect me, and this is how I'm going to change. So I want you to like document today by putting hashtag create28. Well, that kind of rhymes. Hashtag create628, right? June 28th, create628. Some kind of story about how you're going to change your thoughts, how you're going to take them captive, how you're going to renew your mind every day to be able to practice this idea of training your mind to work for you, training your brain, training your thoughts, training yourself to take those thoughts and decide whether they serve you or not, and deciding that you want to create this new pathway instead of those thoughts, those emotions, those actions that do not serve you. And I'd like for you to use that hashtag. So I'm going to search the hashtag, and you actually have until Monday to do this. You have until Monday at 3:00, because that's when I'm going to do the last final boot camp of this 6-part series of these 6 foundational practices when we talk about evening, the Daniel fast. So, that's funny. You have 3 days basically to be able to do that. So I am actually going to give away 5 prizes. And remember, I'm going to still give away one more of the 5-minute gratitude journal little prize that I'm going to do for the next person who puts the hashtag create627, because I only had 3 of those. I'm going to give away 5 of something that helps me to renew my mind every single day. And I have several of these in my Amazon book list. So it is a book, and you can pick other ones, but this is the one that I am working on right now. And I'm almost finished with it. So I think I have another one picked out, and they're all fairly similar, but they are daily one of the ways that I renew my mind. So I'm going to send 5 of these. So you will definitely want to make this post, and you will want to use the hashtag. Cheryl just put it in there for you. Hashtag create628 for today. And what I'm going to give away is 100 Days of Grace and Gratitude. If you already have this one, I will send to you a different one. But this is by Shanna Noel. And I will show you, it's like the perfect combination for me of reading, silence. Sometimes there are affirmations. I can visualize. I even get a little bit of creativity. I get to read. It pretty much meets all of those savers for my morning routine. And it helps me to renew my mind every day. And I am on day 88. So I will show you day 88 here. So it has the day, it has the number over here. It usually has a scripture at the top here. It has a little prayer down at the bottom here. And then on this side, it usually has a little story, a little bit of reading there, a couple of other scriptures. And usually what I do after I read all of this, I will highlight, underline things that kind of stand out and words to me in there. And I will use this other side, I'll show you on some of these pages, to do some lettering. And I will use some different colors, and it kind of gets like my creative side of my brain renewed too, because I, do a little bit of artwork and I do a little bit of lettering, and that helps me to practice the lettering. So the other day I did a really different one. This one I kind of, I don't know, maybe I was feeling a little frenzied that day. Like it feels a little bit more frenzied, and my markers were going out a little bit. And so just kind of trying something different. But I usually will put the date in there, and sometimes I do some like little other pictures kind of around there, but you could do anything that you wanted on this page there. I'm going to give away 5 of those. So before Monday at 3:00, Tony says that she loves her books. 5:00 or 3:00 on Monday, make a post, use the hashtag create628, and tell a story about thoughts and how you're going to remind yourself to renew those every day, how you're going to train your mind to work for you. And then I'd like for you to comment. You can go and comment on some of those posts. You can comment on some of the people that have put some thoughts and post here in this video, and just go encourage and be a light for other people, that you are encouraging them and just recognizing that they struggle with this practice of training their mind to work for them, just like we all do. And just encourage people, and just let them know that you see what it is that they put in there. So on Monday, I will be live at 3:00. I will also be live that morning at 10:30 here on my page. And I will probably be kind of finishing up my pocket journals. I may do a little something else that morning at 10:30. So I'll be live Monday twice. And I will tell you more about the Create course, because I have had a lot of people asking about that. I am going to be putting a couple of things inside of CBOB this weekend. So if you are not over in that group, just comment CBOB and I will make sure and get you the link to get over into that group. And on Monday, I will announce the 5 people who get that Grace and Gratitude journal. So I hope all of you have a great weekend and that you have enjoyed these past 5 days of this boot camp, and something a little different than the creative things that I usually come on and talk about, and that they've helped you to maybe think a little bit differently than you have before. And I will see you on Monday talking about evening routine. The evening routine, the last E in create over here. that way. So have a great weekend, everybody. And I will see you on Monday at 10:30 and Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you then.